Hi, my name's Tim and I am the Tinkering Turtle. Today we're going to try to fix a squeak on the front brakes of my Escape. As you all probably seen in the previous videos, the front brakes from day one would squeak every time I hit them. Woo! Fresh brake pads. I hit them. So today I'm going to take off the front tire. I'm going to hopefully swap out the brake pads. I'm going to clean off the rotor to make sure there's no contamination on it. And hopefully, with any luck, that'll fix the brakes. Let's get to it. So I'm going to start by taking off the brake caliper and taking off the wheel off the bike. And the reason I'm taking the wheel off the bike is not only is it easier to do the cleaning that I need to do, but I also want to be able to reseat it in the forks to make sure that it's even and that's not causing the problem. So I decided to just take the wheel off, do the work, take the caliper off, do the work, and then put everything back together. I just figured it'd be a more thorough job, and hopefully I'll be able to fix whatever's causing the problem. So I'm going to start by taking off the caliper. Next I'm going to remove the front wheel. So I remove these decorative caps that are pressed onto both sides. I'm going to have to get a wrench on both sides. And then the front wheel will come right off. Now that I've got the wheel removed, what I want to do is I want to clean off the rotor front and back. And to do that, I'm going to use a little isopropyl alcohol and a clean rag. In this case, an old sock that I have in my rag bin. The isopropyl alcohol will get any contaminants off the rotor, because a lot of times what causes the loud brake noise is a contaminant either on the rotor or the brake pads. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put on a new set of brake pads. Hopefully these are the ones that fit. I haven't checked yet, but I wasn't getting a lot of great information from Himiway on it, so here's wishing for it. So to do that, I'm going to start just by cleaning off the front and the back. Now you'll note that I'm wearing a rubber glove. That's so as I'm cleaning off the rotor, I don't get any of the oils from my fingers back onto the metal, because that can recontaminate it. So let's get at that. Get a little alcohol on there. So I do a real good job going around the rotor and making sure it's all the dirt, debris, the oil, everything's cleaned off. After I get done with the top, you're going to see that there's a little dark spot there from all the stuff that's coming off. I also want to do the bottom, or the inside, however you want to say it. I'm going to roll this over so I don't get any dirt on it. Again, still getting dirt, so I want to find another clean space and continue until I'm not getting any dirty, oily marks off of the rotor. Yeah, see, I grabbed onto the metal with the hand, so I'm glad that I have the rubber glove on. Okay, and I'm not really getting any more dirt or oil off, so that's good. The rotor is obviously very new, so I'm not seeing any marks on it, because sometimes you'll need to sand with a little fine grit sandpaper to make this smooth again. I don't see any problems with the rotor, and I'm not getting any more oil off of it, so I think that's good. Now next I want to put on the new brake pads, but first I got to take the old ones out of the caliper. On the Escape, there's just a cotter pin that holds them in, so you have to bend this straight, and then you got to get that cotter pin out, just like that. Once that's out, Then you just push the pads and they come right out. Now what I noticed with these pads is they're very dirty. So I have a feeling that oil got contaminated. Maybe some of the mineral oil from the caliper got on them and they got contaminated, and that's why they're causing that loud noise. Comparing these to the ones I bought, they look identical. So I'm going to say these are Tektro brakes. I asked Himiway a couple times, but they just didn't give me a direct answer. So I'm going to take these out of the package and put these back in here. But before I put these in here, I'm going to try to run a rag down in there and see if I can get any oil or anything out of off the calipers. Okay, so to clean these, I'm just going to simply slide this up in and do my best I can to get a good rub on the surface. Get rid of any debris that I can. You can see I'm starting to get a little bit of dark stuff there, not too much, which is good. That means the calipers aren't super oily or contaminated. I think that's good. Okay, so now I've got the new brake pads out of the package, and I don't believe you need to do anything other than put them back in. So I did end up cleaning the brake surfaces off a little bit with some more isopropyl alcohol. A little black gunk came off, so I think now they're nice and clean. The way this works is they go in this little bracket clip, and the clip fits over the brake pad like that and like that, and then they slide back up into the caliper once it's sandwiched together and these holes line up. So I'm going to take this, slide it back up into the caliper, take the cotter pin once they get lined up, and push it through till it comes out the other side. Then I'll bend the cotter pin so the cotter pin can't come back out, and that's how you replace the brake pads. Okay, so we're going to put the front wheel back on. Going to lift up the front bike, or the front of the bike, slide it back down, make sure the spacers are set correctly. Okay, and then while she holds the bike for me nice and flat, I'm going to tighten these up a little bit so that the front tire is seated correctly in the forks. Nice and tight. Would you mind putting the kickstand down? Thank you, baby. Now that we've put the wheel on, we're going to go ahead and replace the decorative caps on both sides. Now we're going to go ahead and replace the caliper, or place the caliper back onto the rotor. You'll have 2 bolts and a bracket. The bracket has a long side and a short side. The long side goes up, and it actually shows that this is the longer post, and that'll be the longer bolt as well. So I go through the caliper, through the bracket, and then I'll just wait to put that one on. I'll slide it over the rotor. I won't snug it all the way down yet. Get the bottom one in. Now I'm going to go through the process of adjusting the caliper on the rotor. That's going to take a few iterations, so I'm probably not going to talk during it because I've showed it in other videos. You basically loosen up the 2 mounting bolts and then squeeze the brake and snug them down as the brake squeeze so it's centered. You may have to fiddle with it a little bit, but that's the process. Now it's all set. We have to take it for a test ride. Okay, so to test my brakes, I'm going to run it up and down my driveway. I don't got a great camera angle for this. I'm sorry about that. Hopefully the sound's coming in good because I have the mic in my pocket and there's no wind noise. Well, what you're going to want to do to test your brakes is you want to get up some speed, 12-15 miles an hour, squeeze the brake. There's no sound. Don't come all the way to a stop when you're doing this. To bed in your brakes, you want to get some speed up, apply the brake, but before you stop, let go of the brakes, feather it back out. That way the rotor won't get any marks or stuff from the brake pad on it, and you'll get a good bedding process. You're going to want to do that probably 10 or 12 times to get a nice bedding for that brake. Now, one of my other subscribers said he had the same problem and he couldn't figure it out. He went through the same process I did, cleaning off the rotor, cleaning the brake pads, doing all that work, and he still had the problem. What he ended up doing is buying some brake grease. Now, brake grease doesn't go between the rotor and the brake pad. It actually goes on the back side of the brake pad next to the caliper. And what was happening is he was getting a vibration between the brake pad and the caliper, and that was causing the noise. So he put some of that on. No more noise, no more problem. Well, I'm going to go ahead and finish bedding in these brakes. Like I said, do that 10 or 12 times, and then we'll be all set. So if you made it to this part of the video, great. If you want to see what I'm doing next time, please subscribe to the channel. It really helps. Send me a comment if you have any questions, and I will catch you later.